Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Leave the World Behind. This is a new film from 2023, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours, 18 minutes. As of the recording of this video, we have a Rotten Tomato score of 75%, an audience score of 42%, and a Letterboxd average rating of 3.2%. So let's talk about this film. Uh, Let me give you a quick synopsis for this. In this apocalyptic thriller from award-winning writer and director Sam Esmail, who also did Mr. Robot, Amanda and her husband Clay are rent a luxurious home for the weekend with their kids, Archie and Rose. Their vacation is soon upended when two strangers, GH and his daughter Ruth, arrive in the night bearing the news of a mysterious cyber attack and seeking refuge in the house they claim is theirs. The two families reckon with a looming disaster that grows more and more terrifying by the minute, focusing everyone to come to terms with their places in a collapsing world. This film is directed by Sam Ishmael, written by Ruman Alam and Sam Ishmael. This movie stars Julia Roberts as Amanda, Mahershala Ali as G.H. Scott, Ethan Hawke as Clay, Myhala as Ruth, Farrah McKenzie as Rose Sanford, Charlie Evans as Archie. Those are the kids. And then also Kevin Bacon as Danny. Um, so, what do I think about this film? So, I actually just finished watching this like maybe 20 minutes ago while I was getting doing some prep for the video. So, the movie's still pretty fresh with me. I think the impression is still pretty fresh with me. I think this movie's fine overall. I hate saying that because it's not very descriptive to the audience, but when I say a movie's fine, there's a few things, right? I think the movie is very well made. I think there's a lot of really good things in the movie as far as like the team that put this movie together, they know how to put a movie together. Now, is the movie the most interesting thing in the world? I think it has its moments. I think the story dips into some very interesting things that they could have explored. I think some audiences will find this. I've seen online a little bit, this movie's a little bit divisive with whereas some people that watch this, they think this is very interesting and very well crafted, whereas some people thought it was maybe a little bit too long and kind of a slog. So that's why I'm kind of, I hate to come down in the middle, but I think, yeah, overall this movie's fine. There's definitely a lot of things that I enjoyed about this, but the length was not one of them. This film is a little bit too long, even though it's kind of broken up into chapters. I feel like this almost could have been. I hate doing this stuff, but like this almost could have been a mini series. Maybe and of course, you know, Ishmael is very famous for the Mr. Robot series, which was a show on television. So maybe, maybe he was looking to tell a larger story than what he was able to fit in here, or maybe this story was not long enough to merit that, so he kind of had to put everything into a film. So let me see. I think overall the payoffs are okay. Like, I'm not disappointed in anything that was set up and paid off, uh, but I'm also not like fully satisfied. I also sometimes films like these with apocalyptic themes and a message, they tend to like really beat it over the head to the audience. Like, I feel like the audiences are a little bit like, I think most audiences that are going to receive a message from a film like this are smart enough to like get the message without having to be beat over the head with it. So yeah, I don't know. And also the film, I feel like it takes kind of the easiest way out of it's going to be kind of a nebulous thing at the end, whereas like if you had really committed to one specific thing, but maybe that's not even the point of the film. So, yeah, I will say the performances were all great. I think everyone that I named, including the kids, I would say maybe Charlie Evans, who's Archie, gets the least amount of character development, but everyone else fantastic. Even Kevin Bacon, who really only, I'm not gonna call it a cameo, but it really only, I guess it is more of a cameo because it's only like, it's not a long time that you see this character, but he really focuses in. I think the scene where Kevin Bacon shows up, um, it's probably one of the best ones in the film. Like, it's very tense, it's very well done. There's a lot of really good dialogue back and forth, and just the performances were very good. So there's definitely a lot to that. So, but everyone else, Julia Roberts, fantastic. Like, I don't think I've ever seen her in a role like this. She usually, at least from the films that I've seen, it's more of a comedic or a, like, it's a more light-hearted tone. But this one, she definitely committed to the character, and I really, really appreciate that. Mahershala Ali as well, like, he plays that line where you don't really know his intentions, including Ruth, his daughter. Same thing. Like, you don't really know, right? Who are these strangers? Why do they show up? Is there any truth to what they're saying? Obviously, the film wants you to believe that, because it wants you to believe that the characters, like Julia Roberts and her family, also don't believe that, which makes it very interesting. It makes a very interesting mystery. Um, but I feel like we started so far out into the film, with all these mysteries, that by the time we zoom in and finally try to figure out what's going on, um, it feels a little bit misguided. There are some really intense, and some really tense like where the tension of the film just really escalates, and it's all kind of driven by the score and the performance and what's happening in the scenes. You might have seen in the trailer, there's a scene with a oil tanker that's coming towards the family on the beach. There's a lot of sequences that are kind of like that, maybe not as grand in design, but even at the smaller level, a lot of really weird, interesting stuff. I almost felt like the movie tries to toe the line between, like, is this something that could really happen, or is this more of a supernatural thing? It lays a lot of seeds that to me feel like it could go either way. I think ultimately it tries to explain everything that it had set up, but I don't know that it fully accomplishes that. Um, One thing I'll say, there's a lot of very interesting and very masterful camera work. I don't know if it was overdone. That might be up to your reception of it. To me, it didn't feel overdone. But there was a lot of times where, like, the camera's in a very weird, unusual place, like the way they're setting up a scene. And sometimes it is because it's trying to hide something from the viewer, that maybe like, there's a lot of times where the characters know something, or they're seeing something that the audience doesn't know, for like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, to maybe like even the scene later. So if you like those kind of things, and that's that kind of tension that the movie builds, I think you'll enjoy this. But like I said, I think the mystery's fine. The story overall, it's fine. What really elevated this for me was the performances, and I just really think I find it really cool when a film manages to set a movie or a story for the most part in like one small location, even if it's not small, like maybe like one big house, kind of, which how it's here, or like in, like in Knives Out, where it's like everything pretty much happens in the house, right? Like stuff like that, and you still manage to keep me interested and entertained, because what you're doing, what the performances are happening, and what the themes of the story are, that are they're so interesting, that I'm not even upset that you're keeping me sitting in a house, maybe with people just talking at a table. That that takes a lot of work, and that really worked for me in this film. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I think, like I said, it could be shorter, but if you have nothing else going on this weekend, maybe throw it on the TV, or maybe watch it with a couple of friends and maybe talk about it. I think it'll make this movie will definitely make a fun discussion afterwards, regardless of what you end up thinking of the film. But yeah, overall, I don't think it's bad at all. It's not my favorite. I've been watching a lot of really good films at the end of the year, so definitely this is not my favorite. But this is not something that I'd be like, oh, I wasted 2 hours of my life, or 2.5 hours of my life. So, um, the chapter breaks and the fact that it is on streaming service definitely do allow you to like pace yourself with it. Like, I watched a little bit and then went to get some breakfast ready, and then came back to finish the rest. And those chapter breaks really allow you to do that. So that part is nice. I think if I would have seen this at the theater, um, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it as much, because the little break in between while I was getting some food ready to watch the rest of the film, like, that part really helped me. Like, it got me excited about knowing what was going to happen next, which is a weird, interesting experience of like these movies that are on demand. Are they really catering to, like, let's build some breaks into the film? So I don't know, that's probably a topic for a whole other discussion with a group of people that know way more about movies than I do. So if you've seen this film, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. We have a lot of movie reviews coming out. I've been watching a lot of movies as we head towards the end of the year. I can't believe there's still so many good things coming out, or so many things that I haven't seen in 2023 that will probably end up in my top 10, 15 movies of the year. So, as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone.